Hello everyone, this is part 4 video on past year NEET questions from the chapter thermodynamics. Now those who are looking at this video can also take a look at the previous 3 parts so that you will have continuity in terms of the type of questions. Let's start with a question that has come in 2009. From the following bond energies, hydrogen single bond energy is given as what? 431.37 kilojoule per mole. Carbon double bond, it is what? 606.10 kilojoule per mole. Carbon single bond, 336.49 kilojoule per mole. We can see that double bond energy will be higher than single bond. This is something that we will be learning in chemical bonding and all these topics. Okay. Then carbon hydrogen single bond, the bond energy is what? 410.50 kilojoule per mole. The question is enthalpy for the reaction. So we have what is this? C2H4 ethene undergoing hydrogenation to form ethane. For this reaction we need to find what is the enthalpy of the reaction. Now obviously if you look at it, right, this question we have to solve for the enthalpy change of this reaction by using the bond energies. So the relation is for any given chemical reaction, right, the enthalpy change will be equal to what? The bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. It is not bond energy of product minus reactant. It is what? Bond energy of the reactant minus product. So if we get this one wrong means, the final answer also we may end up getting it wrong. Okay. Now we have the formula. Enthalpy change of the chemical reaction is equal to what? Bond energy of the reactant minus bond energy of the product. So what is the reactant? Reactant side we have ethene. So what is there on the reactant side? We have ethene and hydrogen gas, that is the reactant. Product side we have ethane. So here we have to look at what are the number of bonds that are present in the reactant side and what are the number of bonds present on the product side. If you look at the reactant side, right, there is, let us talk about the comparison per mole. There will be 1 mole of carbon double bonds and 1 mole of hydrogen single bond and 4 moles of carbon hydrogen single bond, because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. How many carbon hydrogen single bonds are there? 4 moles are there. When it comes to product side, what we have? We have 1 mole of carbon single bond and 6 moles of carbon hydrogen single bond. Why the 6 comes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 moles of carbon hydrogen single bonds. So we just have to do bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. If we substitute these values, right, if we look at this, the double bond carbon 606, hydrogen single bond 431.37, carbon hydrogen single bond 410, but 4 into 4 will come, okay, minus carbon single bond is what? 336.49 and 6 times of the carbon hydrogen, which is 6 into 410.50. If we simplify it, right, it will be coming as what? Minus 120.02 kilojoule per mole, which tells us that this reaction, right, the hydrogenation of ethene to produce ethane is going to be what? Here we are getting delta H as a negative. It is going to be an exothermic reaction. It will result in the release of energy or the liberation of heat. Clear? So what is the answer for this? It is minus 120. Delta H will be equal to what? Minus 120.02 kilojoule per mole, which is option B. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2008. The bond dissociation enthalpy of H2, Cl2, HCl are 434, 242 and 431 kilojoule per mole. These are the respective bond dissociation enthalpies. Means what? For the hydrogen, what is it? 434. For the chlorine, what is it? It is 242. For the hydrogen and chlorine, what is it? It is 431. Okay, so all are in what? In terms of kilojoule per mole. All are in terms of kilojoule per mole. Okay. Now what is being asked? The enthalpy of formation of HCl. We have to find what is the enthalpy of formation of HCl. First of all, we need to understand the definition of what is enthalpy of formation of HCl. not only HCl, for any substance, right? What is the definition of enthalpy of formation or heat of formation? It is the amount of heat that is absorbed or evolved. That will be decided based upon the sign, whether it is a plus or minus. Delta H is coming plus means what? That much amount of energy is absorbed. Delta H is coming negative means what? That much amount of energy will be released. Okay. So heat of formation is the amount of heat that is either absorbed or released when 1 mole of the substance is directly obtained from its basic constituent elements. So when we obtain 1 mole of the substance from its basic constituent elements, then for that particular process, whatever is the enthalpy change, we will call it as what? Enthalpy of formation of that substance. Okay. Now for HCl, if we have to prepare 1 mole of HCl, right? If you look at how we will have the reaction, what will be the basic constituents of HCl? It is hydrogen gas and chlorine gas. Okay. So we should be having half a mole of H2 plus half a mole of Cl2. Okay. So half a mole of H2 and half a mole of Cl2, that will be giving us 1 mole of HCl. So this is about the reaction that shows the formation of HCl. Formation of HCl means, always we must have 1 mole of HCl being formed. Now for this reaction we have to find what is the enthalpy change. That is going to be the enthalpy of formation of HCl. Okay, so enthalpy of formation of HCl means what? The enthalpy change involved in the reaction of formation of 1 mole of HCl from the basic constituents of the substance. Okay, now for this reaction, what is the enthalpy change? Here we have to link enthalpy change in terms of the bond dissociation energies or the bond energies. Bond energy can be also called as what? Bond dissociation energy. Okay, so delta H will be equal to bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. This is a formula that in fact we have used in couple of previous other problems also in the past year questions. Okay, now look at this. Delta H will be equal to what? Bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. So reactant side we have half a mole of H2. What is the bond energy of H2? HH bond is what? 434 kilojoule per mole, but we have only half a mole, right? Means half into 434, and half a mole of Cl2 means half into 242. Okay, so this is the bond energy of the reactants minus what is the bond energy of the product? Means it is HCl, right? It is 431. Okay, so now what we will be having is, this is 434 and 242. So if we simplify it, right, it will be coming as what? So half into, what is this? Half into 434 plus 242. It is going to be 676. Okay, minus 431. So half of 676 means what? It will be 338. Okay, so 338 minus 431. 338 minus 431, and this is going to be what? It will be minus 93 kilojoule per mole. 338 minus 431 will be what? Minus 93 kilojoule per mole. Okay, so all we are doing is we are just expressing the equation for the formation of HCl, and based upon the bond energy relations, right, enthalpy and bond energy relation, we are able to find what is the enthalpy change for this reaction. Okay, so what is the correct answer for this? It is option A. Next we have a question that has come in the NEET paper 2008. For the gas phase reaction, PCl5 gives rise to PCl3 plus Cl2. All are gases. Which of the following conditions are correct? Now if you look at this reaction, right, so what we can straight away tell is, for this reaction the del Ng, change in number of gas moles, is what? Product side we have 1 mole of PCl3, 1 mole of Cl2. Reactant side we have just 1 mole of PCl5, means the change in number of gas moles is what? 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. So this is a reaction where the number of gas moles is increasing, means what? So we will be seeing as the reaction is progressing, right, the randomness of particles, because as the number of gas particles increases, it means what? the randomness of the system will be what? Increasing, because more number of gas particles means more will be the randomness associated with the particles. Okay, now and we also know why it happens is because the entropy, right? Entropy is an extensive property, means it depends upon the number of gas particles. More the number of gas particles means more will be the entropy. Okay, so what we can say is, as the reaction is progressing, the entropy will be increasing, means what? We can say that delta S will be positive. So what we can say clearly, we can say that delta S will be what? Positive. Okay, now if you look at these options, right, there is only one option where we have delta S positive. In all the other options, right, delta S is coming as what? Negative. So what we can say is delta S will be positive clearly. Only in option D we see that delta S is given as positive. Other cases delta S is given as negative. So means A cannot be the answer, B cannot be the answer, C also cannot be the answer. Okay, only D can be the answer based upon delta S. But how are we going to conclude about delta H? Can we comment whether delta H will be positive or delta H will be negative? Now this one, right, we will not be able to directly comment by looking at the reaction, and we can't just see a reaction and tell whether that is going to be exothermic reaction or the endothermic reaction. But generally speaking, right, if you look at the dissociation, here what is happening? PCl5 is dissociating to produce PCl3 and Cl2. The dissociation reactions, right, will have enthalpy change positive, means those reactions absorb energy. Like we have so many examples. We heat calcium carbonate, that will give us CaO and then CO2. So generally the dissociation reactions we have to supply energy for the reaction to happen. But otherwise, by just looking at the reaction, we will not be able to tell whether the reaction is going to be enthalpy positive or enthalpy negative. So we are just looking at some surrogate idea. Clear? So what is the answer for this? It is option D. So we are marking option D based upon just the analysis of the delta S, and we are only giving an explanation, like how we will broadly look at the enthalpy changes of the dissociation or the decomposition type of reactions. So most of the dissociation or decomposition, right, will be what? They will be having enthalpy change to be positive. In other words, they will be what? Endothermic reactions. Next we have another question that has come in the 2008 paper. Which of the following are not state functions? Means we have to find out which of them will not be state functions. So first let us look at what is the definition there. The thermodynamic properties or thermodynamic functions, right, we can classify them into what? Two categories: state functions and then path functions. So what is the state functions? State function are the variables which depend only on the state of the system and not how the process is happening. So the state functions are what? They depend only on the state of the function. Like the internal energy is a state function, enthalpy is a state function, entropy is a state function, Gibbs free energy is also a state function. Okay, so all these are what? State functions. They depend upon the state. Like the internal energy will depend upon what is the temperature. So every state function, right, will depend upon what is the corresponding state. It does not depend upon how the state is changing. So if you have to look at delta H, so what will be delta H? Final enthalpy minus initial enthalpy. It does not depend upon what is the path taken to reach from initial state to final state. Entropy change will be equal to what? Final entropy minus initial entropy. Free energy change will be equal to what? The final free energy minus initial free energy. So they don't depend upon the path. Now the path functions, on the other hand, right, they are those functions which depend on the path followed during a process. Okay, so which means the work, if you look at it, right, so we have the general formula for the work. What is the general expression for the work? W is equal to minus integral P external dV. We see that if it is a reversible means we can simplify this expression. Irreversible means we cannot simplify, we have to use the general formula. So reversible also we see that if it is isothermal, we will have a different expression. If it is an adiabatic, we have a different expression. If it's an isobaric, we have a different expression. So basically saying what the work is depending upon the path. And if you look at the first law formula, right, what is the first law formula? Q plus W is equal to delta U. In this, right, Q, or look at this, Q can be written as what? Delta U minus W. So delta U is what? Change in the internal energy, which is a state function. But W is what? Path function, which means Q also will depend upon the path. So clearly Q is a path function. Okay. W is a path function. And here what we are looking for? We are looking for which of them are not state functions. So 2 is not a state function. 3 is also not a state function. Okay. Now this means, our options will be what? Either A or B or D. Why? Because A, B and D, all of them are putting 2 as well as 3. But we have to check what about the 1 and 4. Okay, so 1 is what? Q plus W. What is Q plus W? Delta U, right? What is delta U? It is a state function. Means 1 is a state function. Okay. 4. What is 4? H minus T into S. What is H minus T into S? That is G. G is what? It is a state function. Free energy is a state function, which means D also will not be included. Okay. So what will be the correct answer for this? Option B, which is only Q and W will be the ones which are not state functions. Okay. Others will be what? State functions. Clear? So this, the classification of thermodynamic variables as the state functions and path functions, and also we have one more classification, extensive and then intensive variables. So we have questions coming on the classification of the thermodynamic variables or functions also. Okay, let's move on to the next question. This is a theoretical question which has come in the year 2007. Okay, consider the following reactions. What are the following reactions? H plus plus OH minus gives rise to H2O liquid. Del H is equal to minus X1. Second, H2 plus half O2 gives rise to H2O liquid. Del H is equal to minus X2. Third, CO2 plus H2 gives rise to CO plus H2O. Del H is equal to minus X3. Fourth, C2H2 plus 5 by 2 O2 gives rise to 2CO2 plus H2O. Del H is equal to what? Plus X4. Now the enthalpy of formation of H2O liquid is. So this is a question on the definition of what is an enthalpy of formation. So what is the enthalpy of formation? It is the enthalpy change involved in the formation of 1 mole of a substance. It is the enthalpy change involved in the formation of 1 mole of a substance from its basic constituents. Means what? For the H2O liquid, what will be the basic constituents? It is nothing but the hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Means we must have H2 gas plus half O2 gas that will combine to give H2O liquid. So what is the equation that exactly represents this? Which is the equation 2. In case of equation 2, what is the delta H value? Delta H value is equal to what? Minus X2. So this minus X2 will be the enthalpy of formation of H2O liquid. So this is based upon the definition of what is the enthalpy of formation. Okay. Next, we'll move on to the question that has come in year 2007. Okay. Given the bond energies of hydrogen-hydrogen bond, chlorine-chlorine bond, what are the values? 430 and 240. And the delta H formation of HCl is what? Minus 90. So in fact, if you check, we have seen a similar model of question. Okay, the delta H formation for HCl is what? Minus 90. They're asking what is the bond enthalpy of HCl. They're asking what is the bond enthalpy of HCl. Again, so delta H formation of HCl means what? It is the enthalpy change involved in the reaction where 1 mole of HCl is formed. Means we take half a mole of H2, half a mole of Cl2 to produce 1 mole of HCl. For this, what is the delta H value given as minus 90? Delta H will be equal to what? bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the product. Okay, so means minus 90 is equal to, what is the bond energy of the reactant? We have reactants, half a mole of H2 and half a mole of Cl2, means half of H2, what is the bond enthalpy? 430, plus half of Cl2, what is it? 240. Okay, minus bond energy of the product is what? That is our product is HCl, right? That is the bond energy of HCl, bond enthalpy of HCl. Okay, so now if you look at this, what we are going to have, minus 90, okay, is equal to what? Half of 430 means it will be 215, half of 240 means 120, minus bond energy of the HCl bond. Okay, so what is this? Minus 90 is equal to what? 215 plus 120, it will be 335 minus bond energy of the HCl. We are looking for this value, right? So let us rearrange the term. Minus 90 will go to the RHS and the negative of bond energy will come to the LHS. So bond energy of the hydrogen chlorine bond will be equal to what? 335 plus 90. It is going to be what? 425. Unit is going to be kilojoule per mole. So what is the correct answer for this? Option B. It's a straight question. So we are just relating the enthalpy change of the chemical reaction to the bond energies of the reactants and the products. Again, we have seen quite a number of questions on this. So what is the relation? Enthalpy change of a chemical reaction will be equal to the bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 2006. The question is, identify the correct statement for change of Gibbs energy for a system at constant temperature and pressure. So if you look at constant temperature and pressure, means we can think of it like a chemical reaction, because most of the chemical reactions happen at constant temperature and pressure. Okay, now we have to comment on this. So look at this. Option A is saying what? Del G system less than 0 means the process is not spontaneous. Option B is saying what? Del G system positive means the process is spontaneous. Option A is not correct. Why? Because del G negative means actually spontaneous. Option B is also not correct. Why? Because del G positive means non-spontaneous. Option C is saying what? Del G is equal to 0 means the system has attained equilibrium. This is correct. At equilibrium stage, delta G will be equal to what? 0. Option D is what? Del G of the system is 0 means the system is still moving in a particular direction. No, because that is representing what? The equilibrium state. So just to summarize, so what is the correct answer for this? Option C. But look at this. So del G negative means what? It indicates a spontaneous system. Del G positive means non-spontaneous. Okay, so the reaction will not have the favorable step for happening in the forward direction, but it may occur in the backward direction. Okay, and del G is equal to 0 will be the condition for the equilibrium state. So the answer for this is what? Option C. Sometimes we may get some straight theoretical questions like this. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 2006. Assume each reaction is carried out in an open container, for which reaction will delta H be equal to delta E. Okay, so we are looking at a condition where delta H is equal to delta E. Now, how do we know for which of the reactions delta H is equal to delta E? First, we must know what is the relation between delta H and delta E. What is the relation? Delta E means this is, we can also call it as what? Delta U. E or U represent what? They represent the internal energy. So what is the formula? Delta H is equal to delta E plus delta Ng into RT. This is the relation between the enthalpy change and internal energy change for a chemical reaction. Delta H will be equal to what? Delta E plus del Ng RT. Del Ng means what? Del Ng will be what? This is the change in number of del Ng will be change in number of gas moles, means product side gas moles minus reactant side gas moles. Okay, so if this del Ng is 0, right? If the del Ng is 0 means, because obviously there will be a temperature value for every reaction, R is a constant. So in which case delta H will be equal to delta E when this delta Ng will be 0. So our task is now to find for which of the reactions delta Ng is equal to 0. So look at the option A. Product side number of gas moles is 2. Reactant side 2 moles of CO, 1 mole of O2. So delta Ng here is equal to what? 2 minus 3, which is equal to minus 1. It is not 0. Okay. Now look at option B. What is option B? Delta Ng will be product side 2 moles of HBr gas. Reactant side 1 mole of H2, 1 mole of Br2, means totally 2 moles will come. So 2 minus 2 is what? 0. I think we got our answer. What is it? Option B. For this reaction, right, del Ng is 0, hence the delta H value is going to be equal to delta E. Now we will continue with the option C just to verify. Okay, C is what? We have 1 mole of CO2, 2 moles of H2. Remember, in del Ng calculation, always we should be calculating the gas moles only. If it is a liquid or a solid, we should not be counting it. That's why, we have to be doubly careful in looking at what is the state of the substance. Okay, so 1 mole of CO2 is there in the product, 2 moles of H2. So the totally product side gas moles is what? 3. Reactant side 2 moles of H2O gas, and carbon is solid, we will not count it. Means what? It will be 3 minus 2, which is equal to 1. Now the option D, right, look at this. Del Ng in this case will be equal to what? 1 mole of Cl2 gas, we will count it. 1 mole of PCl3 gas, we will count it. 2 product moles. Reactant side 1 mole of PCl5. It is a gas, that's why we are counting it. Okay, so 2 minus 1 is equal to what? 1. So only case where it is 0, del Ng is 0 is what? Option B. That's the reason why only in that reaction the delta H will be equal to delta E. Okay, so if we look at it, right, if del Ng is positive, you know what it means? Delta H value will be more than delta E, because it is like we are adding something positive to delta E, right? If del Ng is positive, means what? We are adding some positive term to delta E. That's why delta H will be more than delta E. If del Ng is negative, then delta H value will be less than delta E. If del Ng is negative, means delta H value will be less than delta E. Clear? Let's look at another question. This question has come in the year 2006. The enthalpy and entropy change for the reaction Br2 liquid plus Cl2 gas gives rise to 2BrCl gas. The enthalpy change is what? 30 kilojoule per mole. Means, what is the delta H value? 30 into 10 power 3 joule per mole, that is delta H. What is the entropy change? Delta S is given as what? 105 joule per Kelvin, that is delta S. The temperature at which the reaction will be in equilibrium. I think we have seen this model of question quite often in the NEET examination. Quite a number of years this model of question has come. So what is it? If you look at the condition where we are going to reach equilibrium, for equilibrium, right, the del G must be equal to what? 0, which means delta H value, because del G is equal to what? Gibbs Helmholtz equation, right? Del H minus T del S. So del H will be equal to what? T delta S, which means del H by del S will be equal to the temperature. What is delta H? 30 into 10 power 3 joule per mole, divide by what is del S? 105 joule per Kelvin. Okay, so in fact now it will be joule per Kelvin per mole. Okay, joule per Kelvin per mole. So joule per mole is cancelled. That is our temperature. So what is it? 30,000 by 105 Kelvin. That is our temperature. If we simplify it, right, it will be coming close to what? 285.7 in terms of the Kelvin. So what is the temperature? It's a straight question. The only thing is we just have to conclude this calculation part. Okay, so it's basically what we are putting the condition of del G is equal to 0 for the equilibrium. Next we have a question, another question that has come in the year 2006. The enthalpy of hydrogenation of cyclohexene. Cyclohexene means what? We'll have this is cyclohexane. There is a one double bond. This is what you call as the cyclohexene. The enthalpy of hydrogenation. Hydrogen means what? Hydrogenation means adding hydrogen. This will give us what? This will be giving us cyclohexane. For this, what is the del H value given as? minus 119.5 kilojoule per mole. So if you look at it, what is the difference between cyclohexene and cyclohexane? It is nothing but the hydrogen is getting added to one double bond. The hydrogen is getting added to what? One double bond. Okay. Now what we have to check is if the resonance energy of benzene is 150.4 kilojoule per mole. The benzene resonance energy. Okay, so what is the benzene resonance energy? It is 150.4 kilojoule per mole. Its enthalpy of hydrogenation would be, they're asking what is the enthalpy of hydrogenation of the benzene. So first, if you look at the hydrogenation of the cyclohexene when 1 mole of hydrogen is added, it will give us cyclohexane. Okay, so in terms of the bond energies, right, the difference between the cyclohexene reactant side, what we have, cyclohexene and hydrogen. Product side we have a cyclohexane. So if you see what is actually happening, carbon-carbon pi bond is there in the cyclohexene, and hydrogen single bond is there. Product side, in place of both of them, right, what we are getting here, one carbon hydrogen bond, here one carbon hydrogen bond, we are getting two carbon hydrogen bonds. So if you look at it, right, how we can represent this delta H is, how do you represent the delta H? It is the bond and enthalpy of the reactants minus bond enthalpy of the product, correct? So it is nothing but what? The carbon-carbon pi bond energy plus the hydrogen-hydrogen bond energy minus 2 times the carbon-hydrogen bond energy. This is our minus 119.5 kilojoule per mole. That's how we will express the delta H. It is nothing but what? The bonds that are there on the reactant side. I mean, reactant side there are other bonds also. Like, here we have a carbon-carbon single bond. Here also we will have each carbon is bonded to 2 hydrogens. But all of them are there in the cyclohexane also. What is the basic difference between cyclohexene and cyclohexane? That we need to understand. What is the basic difference? Here we have a carbon-carbon pi bond, and in H2 we have a hydrogen-hydrogen bond. In place of these two, in the product cyclohexane, what we are getting? Here one carbon hydrogen bond, here one carbon hydrogen bond. We are getting 2 carbon hydrogen bonds. So the enthalpy change can be given as what? Carbon-carbon pi bond energy plus hydrogen-hydrogen single bond energy, that is the reactant side, minus product, what we are counting? 2 carbon hydrogen bonds. Okay, this is we can say minus 119.5 kilojoule per mole. Now when we look at this reaction, right, look at this reaction, what is it? Benzene undergoing hydrogenation to form the cyclohexane. Here if you look at it, right, we will be consuming 3 moles of hydrogen. We will be consuming what? 3 moles of hydrogen. Okay, and here 3 carbon pi bonds will be present in the benzene. In the cyclohexane, in place of 3 carbon pi bonds and 3 hydrogen bonds, we are getting what? After adding 6 hydrogens, we will simply get 6 carbon hydrogen extra bonds, which means for this process, right, if del H is the enthalpy change of the hydrogenation of cyclohexene, which is minus 119.5, for this the hydrogenation of benzene, right, the enthalpy change we expect will be what? 3 times the delta H of the hydrogenation of cyclohexene, because after all, what is happening here? We are dealing with 3 carbon pi bonds and 3 hydrogen single bonds, correct? But the thing is, apart from this, benzene has got resonance stabilization, means it is having stabilization energy which is minus 150.4 kilojoule per mole. Now when benzene is losing its resonance, it will be also losing its resonance energy of stabilization. Means what? When we look at the enthalpy of hydrogenation of benzene, it is 3 times the enthalpy change of the cyclohexene hydrogenation minus the resonance energy. Why are we doing minus? Because the product side we don't have any resonance, only the resonance is happening on the reactant side. So product side there is no resonance, the resonance is only in the reactant side. So we are subtracting whatever is the resonance stabilization energy. So if you look at it, right, what will be the overall value? It's going to be 3 into minus 119.5 minus of minus 150.4. That will be giving us what? It will be 3 into minus 119.5 means minus 358 plus 150. It will be what? Minus 208.1 kilojoule per mole. Okay. So whenever we look at the resonance stabilization, right, if a compound is, let's say there is a compound A, it is losing resonance. It is losing resonance to produce compound B simply. Then for this, right, assuming there is no bond change or anything, for this reaction, what will be the delta H value? Delta H value will be equal to minus of the resonance energy. So if you look at resonance energy, here is minus 150, right? For this, what will be the delta H value? Minus of minus 150 means plus 150, because that indicates we have to supply this much amount of energy. That much amount of energy will be absorbed. Okay, so this is how we look at the resonance energy incorporation into the enthalpy change. The resonance energy will be incorporated into enthalpy change. Okay, so whenever a compound is losing resonance, that the enthalpy change coming from the losing of the resonance part will be always indicating what? An endothermic step, because that much amount of energy has to be gained, then only it will be able to lose the resonance phenomena. Clear? So the answer for this question is option C. So this is about this part video, and we'll see in the next part.